To me, it's always a dream. I love living here. You're driving right now through what's Hollywood, the palm trees, the open roads. Right now you can't see them, but there's mountains right there. The ocean is half an hour away, and on top of it, you get to work in the industry that you've always dreamed to work. So to me, it's a dream come true.
Welcome to Cinema 5D on the Go. Moving conversations about moving images with filmmakers and industry leaders. Brought to you by Kessler Crane, Fujinon, G Technology, and Schneider, in association with Sony. This is your host, Nino Leitner.
Welcome to this new episode of Cinema 5D on the Go. We're here in Hollywood, California, today with Michael Dermen, a line producer from Argentina.
Hi, everybody.
And specialized in television works, right?
That is correct.
So what's interesting to us is, how did you make it in Hollywood? As somebody who's not from America, we all know, like a lot of kids, including me and others, have the dream of, like going to Hollywood, making it here. What's the reality, and what was the dream, and how did you make it?
Yes, as we all know, getting into the States is not an easy task, especially after 9/11. I came here twice. My first time, I had a soccer scholarship back in 2000, and that was sort of my first approach into the US. So
you were a professional soccer player?
No, it's just that I'm from Argentina, and in Argentina everybody plays soccer, and I happen to be good at it, and I got a soccer scholarship to a university in Illinois, and when I graduated, I was able to work for a year. I came to the US, to LA, and I worked for 1 year in the business as a production assistant, coordinator, and then my visa expired and I went back to Argentina. But at this point now I'm in Argentina with a US education, with a British background, and I understood the US ways of doing things and some of the things that in Argentina can't be done. So it was a good bridge for me to work on foreign productions coming to Argentina.
Oh, okay.
So I would budget all of the shows, and one of the big ones that came down was Jennifer Lopez and Mark Anthony, Que Viva the Chosen. And I was the line producer for that project. It was a year project touring 5-6 countries around South America. And after that show was done, Jennifer started her world singing tour. And Argentina was the third one on the list of 35 countries. And her manager got in touch with me, and we were on the phone, coming and going, talking about, helping them out when they arrived in Argentina. I helped them during their show day, and he offered me if I wanted to go to Brazil with him, and I would spend 10 days in Brazil, and then I would either return to Argentina or continue the 6-month world tour. And I was like, yes, what do I have to do? And he goes, you'll be my executive assistant, get on a plane in 7 hours, you're coming with us. And so I closed up all of my accounts and phone bills and everything that I had in Argentina in those
Wow.
in that one night from 2 a.m. till 7 a.m. I packed 2 bags, I got on a plane, and I never went back. And they got me my O1 visa,
Mm-hmm.
and that was how I came, like, the second time.
So the O1 visa is like extraordinary talent, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not easy to get.
It's not an easy one to get, but I think the hardest part for that is you've got to come up with 8 letters of recommendation from other industry peers. So at some point, it's not only do you need that sponsor, but you also need those connections where you're able to connect with 8 other industry people that can make those letters, that can write those letters for you. So yeah, it's definitely not an easy task at all. I was very fortunate and very lucky, and it was thanks to them. It was very hard work, very, very hard work for the next 9 months that I was with them. But obviously, with every experience, you learn a lot, and you're exposed to a lot of things, new things, difficult things.
So and once you ended up here, how was it? I mean, in terms of how is the dream Hollywood versus the reality?
To me, it's always a dream. I love living here. I have heard from people that when I tell them that I love living here, they're like, how can you say that? Like, not many people love living here, but I love living here. You're driving right now through what's Hollywood, the palm trees, the open roads. Right now you can't see them, but you know, there's mountains right there. The ocean is half an hour away. And on top of it, you get to work in the industry that you've always dreamed to work. So to me, it's a dream come true. I come from a third world country where all of Argentina's sort of equipment, you might see it on the set of Transformers or something like that. It's a small industry compared to LA. So you've got options wherever you turn. There's an option. There's always job opportunities. There's thousands of companies that you might get hired from. Obviously, there's millions of people trying to get in, but I believe that if you've got a good service and a good talent or attitude and something different to offer, there's always an opportunity for you. Right?
And it's really a melting pot of people.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like people from all over the world are here, and with different walks of life. So everybody brings something different to the table. It's a good place to be at. And to me, it was interesting because when I quit working for the Jennifer Lopez team, I was on my own. I'm freelancer, and then I was on my own, having to search for my own jobs. But it's easier once you're able to come up with a good resume, and I knocked on all of the doors. And I didn't start as a line producer when I came here. After I quit, I started as a coordinator. I purposely took a job as a coordinator to see who are the players in town, who are the vendors, how do they do things here, because you're a new person in a new town. So, and in that way you learn from the bottom up, and you're not making silly mistakes and making a fool out of yourself.
Yeah.
And now I've been working, fortunately, for the past 4 years, pretty much non-stop.
So yeah, you have a very long resume already in these 4 years. So what kind of shows have you worked on in the beginning, and what are you working on now?
I started off with a car show. I was a coordinator on the car chases on CNBC, and then they went on to a third season, and then because they saw my resume and how I could work, they asked me to be the line producer, production manager for the next season. And then after that, I went on to Naked and Afraid, and I traveled 3 different countries. We went to Namibia in Africa, the Amazon in Colombia, Panama in South America. Very different experiences. It's just very small crews, we're very hands-on. The camera guy is pretty much doing everything. He only has one assistant, and the audio guy is also there. It's very, very hands-on. And then from there, now I'm on Top Gear. So we're doing Top Gear USA, which is, sort of a revamped new version of the Top Gear UK, but with a US cast and crew. So wrapping that up now, and then I don't know what's my next adventure. I'll have to start knocking on doors.
That's cool. I mean, you're mainly working in television, right?
Yes.
So how have you felt television is changing? I mean, obviously now with Netflix, Amazon Prime, and all the other online outlets, even YouTube and others that pouring a lot of money into original content, and the younger generation really not watching TV that much anymore. Is that something you already feel in your production work, and how productions are changing?
So it seems like 2 things have happened with that. First, there's a larger pot or bag, if you want, of ideas that are presented to all of these different outlets or networks or sources of creation of new content, and anybody can come up now with an idea, because it feels like back in the day it was a bit harder to come up with the sales pitch or the sizzle reel, because you didn't have access to such affordable tools to shoot that sizzle, or to pull stuff off of the internet and cut it your own, to put something together that you can show. Obviously, as we all know, a picture is worth 1,000 words, right? So before, people would probably just pitching with a piece of paper or PowerPoints. Now it's much more affordable to shoot something on your own, a sizzle, and make it interesting for the potential buyer to buy your idea. And on the flip side, you also have much more competition when it comes to cameras and available technologies to shoot this, from more expensive to less expensive. It seems like the younger generation has much more access to these new cameras and new technologies, and they're more in the nitty gritty of these. You know, what does each function do, and
That's our audience mainly.
Exactly, and they might be now the competition to more of the older generation, the seasoned generation that use, you know, they're not very familiar with these new technologies, and so it's interesting to see how that marries. And you might have this young 27-year-old kid that has probably just have 5 years of experience with it, but he's so well versed with all of these new technologies and can come up with potential solutions to things that the old school might have not thought of, or their solution is much more expensive. So it's good to be in this era, because you have, as a line producer, that you need to always marry the cost effectiveness to listen to all of these varied solutions and come up with the best one with the budget that you have.
Is that something that's influencing the productions you're working on already, or you know, do you have people on shows that probably would not have gotten a chance to be creative on shows like that a couple of years ago? Yes,
I think I haven't actually been well, actually I take that back. Last year on some downtime that I had, I took a job with an Indian production company that they were sort of getting initiated with doing TV shows and reality and docu-series, and so they didn't have the budget that you normally do something in LA for, and but with these new technologies they were able to, maybe not at the best of quality, but they were able to at least get, you know, a group of people to shoot a TV show for half the price or even 1/3 of the price. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it, because there's still production standards that you should meet and ways of doing things, but at least they're able to put something in front of the network executives to show that, you know, this is the concept that we want to shoot. Maybe that serves to, on the next season, to make it with a better budget, to get better funding, but at least they have the tools to put something visually in front of an executive. We also see the difference between, you know, when we're doing like in-car stuff right now, when we're doing Top Gear, that, you know, back in the day it might have been GoPros, and now you've got much better camera qualities, smaller cameras that will get you the job, and even if you have them mounted on the car, when you're far away from an exterior shot, you're not seeing those small cameras, and you're still able to do, you know, 2 shots at the same time rather than having to rig or de-rig.
Okay. So basically hiding the cameras while you're shooting the car from outside?
Yeah.
Interesting.